Have you ever asked yourself, why are explicit content so easy to find? Why does it seem like it's everywhere online, even when you're not looking for it? And more importantly, why are we letting a generation of kids grow up in a world where hardcore corn is just one click away? No questions asked. Today we're diving deep into a conversation most people are too scared or too uncomfortable to have. Because if we don't talk about it, the consequences are going to be a lot worse than awkwardness. They already are. Stick around. This might just change the way you see the internet forever. And before we dive in, drop a comment. At what age do you think you first got exposed to explicit content online? By accident or on purpose? Be honest, there's no judgment here. Section 1, How We Got Here. Let's rewind the clock for a second. Before smartphones, before high-speed internet, before social media, accessing corn was actually hard. You had to sneak magazines, find DVDs, or access shady websites that took forever to load. There were barriers. But now, it's different. A study by the British Board of Film Classification in 2019 found that over half of 11 to 13-year-olds had already seen explicit content online, many by accident, some on purpose. And that was 2019. Today, with TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, and endless adult sites operating with barely their restrictions, exposure is happening earlier and earlier. Why? Because the business of corn thrives on one thing: early, repeat engagement. They're not just showing corn anymore. They're marketing it, packaging it, and pushing it in ways that specifically appeal to young brains, whether they admit it or not. Does that make you uncomfortable? It should. Because what's being sold isn't just fantasy. It's an entire view of sex, relationships, and human connection that young people are downloading into their brains before they even understand it. Section 2, The Psychology of Early Exposure. Here's where it gets deeper. The adolescent brain is uniquely vulnerable to extreme stimuli. Neuroscientists like Dr. Norman Doidge and Dr. Donald Hilton have pointed out that when kids and teens are exposed to hyper-stimulating content, like hardcore corn, it reshapes their reward circuits. It's like giving a kid candy every hour of every day, and then wondering why they can't enjoy a simple apple anymore. Real-life intimacy. It can start to feel boring compared to the constant high of online extremes. One study published in JAMA Psychiatry found that early exposure to corn is linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, body dysmorphia, and even sexual dysfunction in adulthood. Not to mention warped expectations of what intimacy is supposed to look like. Here's a question for you. Do you think our generation understands the difference between real intimacy and online fantasy anymore? Comment below. I really want to hear your take. Section 3. Who's profiting off of this? Let's be real. Corn isn't some underground thing anymore. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. More profitable than Netflix, the NFL, and the music industry combined. And who are the prime future consumers? Teenagers. Sites and content creators know exactly what they're doing. They create softcore bait on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, barely getting flagged, so younger audiences get curious. Then when they're finally of legal age, they're already hooked. Marketing 101. Create the craving before the customer even knows what they want. Except this time, the product is an addiction to distorted views of human connection. And no, this isn't about being anti-sex. It's about questioning how young, impressionable minds are being exploited without real consent. Is it really freedom if the kids getting exposed to this stuff don't even have the tools yet to understand what they're seeing? Section 4. Day-to-day damage. Let's talk about real life. How is this shaping people every single day? Relationships are suffering. People raised on extreme corn report higher rates of dissatisfaction with real partners. They struggle to connect emotionally, not just physically. Mental health is tanking. Young men, in particular, are facing record high rates of loneliness, social anxiety, and depression. Women are reporting feeling objectified even in non-romantic spaces. Communication is breaking down. Instead of learning to navigate the complexities of real-life relationships, people are being trained to expect instant gratification. Swipe, click, consume. When things get hard, they ghost, they numb out, they avoid real growth. Are we building a generation that's afraid of each other, or worse, a generation that doesn't even see each other as human anymore? Drop a heart if you believe real connection still matters. Section 5. Accessibility, the open secret. Here's the scariest part. There's no real age gate online. Sure, you might have to click to confirm you're over 18, but everyone knows that means nothing. According to a report from the Children's Commissioner for England, nearly half of children aged 11-13 have accessed porn, most without any parental guidance or discussion. And the industry. They're doing the absolute minimum to prevent it, because they know. The earlier you hook someone, the longer you keep them. No thoughtful warnings, no real blockers. Imagine if alcohol companies started advertising to 10-year-olds. There would be national outrage, lawsuits, government action. But corn, silence. Why? Maybe because it's uncomfortable. Maybe because no one knows how to talk about it. But the cost of silence is an entire generation losing their ability to form real, meaningful, healthy relationships. Section 6. Why aren't we doing more? You might be wondering, if the problem is this big, why isn't anyone stepping up? The answer is complicated and, honestly, kind of depressing. Big tech profits off engagement, more clicks, more money. They have no real incentive to clean up platforms. Governments are slow to regulate. Laws about internet safety are decades behind the technology. Parents often feel powerless, or worse, completely unaware of what their kids are really seeing. And society? We're stuck in this weird paradox. We scream about protecting children from bullying, hate, and violence online. But when it comes to corn, we look the other way. Ask yourself, if kids deserve protection from violent movies and cigarette ads, why not from hardcore corn too? Let me know what you think in the comments. Section 7. Is there hope? Here's the good news. Conversations like this one, they matter. Awareness is step 1. Change starts when people stop being afraid to ask uncomfortable questions. We need better parental education about digital safety, stricter verification systems on adult content sites, open conversations with young people about real intimacy, consent, and connection before they get their first phone. Most importantly, we need to stop pretending this isn't happening, because it is, every day, everywhere. And silence only helps the people profiting off it, not the kids, not the future. Outro, call to action. I know this was a heavy video, but honestly, it needed to be. Corn isn't just an adult thing anymore. It's a systemic cultural issue affecting every new generation growing up online. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think society is doing enough to protect young people online? At what age do you think kids should start learning about real intimacy versus online fantasy? Comment below. This is a conversation we need to have. If this video got you thinking, drop a like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our lives. Real talk isn't always easy, but it's necessary. Let's build a future that protects the most important thing we have, our ability to truly connect. See you in the next one.